Hello and hola, everyone. How are you? Welcome back to the Brickanista Broadcast Network. I'm Naomi, the Brickanista here in Seattle, and we're here with my buddy. Hopefully, I get this right.
That's
Oh,
right.
I didn't get it right.
No,
I keep forgetting.
double
Which
fail.
direction?
It's fine.
Oh, my friend and buddy, Brick Literacy in Virginia.
Yes.
How's it going?
Welcome all. It's good. It's a little weird day. I did that thing where like you buy the Halloween candy too early, and I'm like hopped up on Kit Kats, but that's fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
too many Kit Kats, but we'll power through.
that is so on brand for you. I'm surprised you're not wearing your cat shirt. Because usually, if for those of you who follow
Yeah.
this stream, Remy and I have been doing this for the entire LEGOMasters New Zealand episodes. We did them for half, I think. Oh no, actually, you did that with Yano, and then we've been working on this season for LEGOMasters US North America. And in honor of our guests, I also wore this shirt, and kind of for Remy too, because he usually wears cat shirts. But I wore
Yeah.
my Taco Cat spelled backwards is Taco Cat.
That is an amazing shirt. Wow, I need one now. But even I have to occasionally do laundry, and this is just one of those days.
You do laundry, really?
I do my own laundry now, and it's working out. We got some ups and downs, but I'm getting
working out. Okay.
I will probably keep doing laundry on my own. So
well, I'm happy that you are now doing laundry on your own because that's an important skill to have. And I know that our guests had to help our latest additions to the show because they were 18 and 19 and had never left home. And Liz had mentioned last week, I think, that she was helping them with their laundry too. So,
yeah.
But please help me welcome Tacos. Hey, Tacos.
Hi.
AKA Christine. But on this show, we're going to refer to her as Tacos because that's what she prefers. So welcome to the stream. How are you?
Hi, I'm excited to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for accepting our offer because I know that we're not a big channel, but we do reviews of the show. And one thing that has been nice is that several contestants have agreed to be on the show, and we really appreciate you being here, as well as Michelle.
Hi. Hola.
How's it going?
Very good, very good. I'm very happy to be here. Finally, with Bricanista. I've been following you. Yeah, so I'm excited.
I am so thankful for you because something that I didn't share with a lot of people is that when I was at BrickCon, Michelle came over to me and we were getting ready to do the master build. And she came over to me and she goes, I know you. How do I know you? And then she goes, you're the Brickanista.
You were wearing your face mask. I'm like, you're Bricanista. And you're like, yes.
Somebody actually recognized me.
Hey, I recognized you too. Just saying. What am I, chopped liver?
No, you're not chopped liver. You are the top of the line beef steak cut, whatever that is. I'm a vegan, so I'm going to say that whatever that is for you.
I'll take it.
You're New York strip, right? Because you're from New York?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, you're New York strip then. Okay.
That's a nice cut.
Now I'm hungry.
Okay. Well, let's also just mention a few people in the chat. So hello, Debo Bricks. So Kit Kat is kryptonite.
Yeah.
And
No
Rick
more.
Brickham, how are you from Canada? One of our Canadian friends is here. Hello. But what I wanted to just mention is that we normally do the review show and we go through the different builds. But we're going to switch up the order a little bit because we know your build was last in the lineup. And so we're going to go through your first set of builds from the first 3 episodes as well as this episode 4. Anybody who is watching, this is going to be full of spoilers.
Yes.
So you can either turn the volume down and watch these beautiful gestures and all these beautiful faces, or just come back and tune in.
Yeah.
We really are going to get some really great insights from these folks. And hello, Lego fan Bubba.
There also may be, a decent amount of crying if you mute the stream. So you'll be, we'll laugh, we'll cry, all sorts of mixed emotions.
I don't cry.
I
No.
do.
Oh,
I do.
No.
I do.
My nose turned red. This is gonna be my nose. It's like,
I have
nobody
a
wants to see
napkin
that.
handy.
It goes.
Okay.
It gets this wide. So like,
Yeah.
just prepare to just have a
Yeah.
giant. No, it's not pretty. Nobody wants to see that.
It's still
Pressing it?
important. Yeah,
And then pooping it out. That's what I do. I bottle it.
that's fine. Also, feel free to wear a mask. It's still important to wear a mask.
Oh.
COVID. Yeah, there you go. Then nobody can tell.
That's true. When you are wearing a mask, then you can show emotions without showing your emotions, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to just before we start with the review, first of all, can you share with our audience how did the two of you become a team? Because you mention often that you represent two different countries, with Michelle representing Mexico and Tacos representing the Dominican Republic. So how did the two of you become a team on the show? Did you know each other beforehand, or how did you meet?
I knew of her. I've seen her go live with lots of people. She became like a live person. It's like, oh my gosh, that blue-haired girl again. She's so loud.
Oh yeah, I'm loud. Oh my God. Well, I started my Instagram almost more than a year ago. I don't even remember now. And then I've was reached out by a casting agent. Of course,
Oh,
I thought it was a scam.
Yeah.
Because like, what? Like LEGOMasters? Me? Are you kidding me? And they were like, yes, we've seen your Instagram. Like, we like you. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna say no, right? It's just like that would be pretty dumb. So I was like, yeah, okay. What do I need? And he's like, okay, first of all, you need a teammate. Okay. I really didn't know like anyone enough to ask them to be my teammates. And looking around about like the community and the AFOLs around on Instagram, which is the social media that I use the most, I was trying to I spot her. I was like, I need someone who can understand me, speak Spanish, because it's just gonna be like such a big challenge for me, being from a different country. And if I made it to the show, like being on national TV, which at the time it seemed something really impossible, but I was like looking at my all the people on Instagram, and I spotted her handle, which is tacos, right? I was like, okay, I can see something there. Legos, tacos, burritos. I was like, okay. And then I started browsing her account, and I noticed that she's Hispanic, of course. She's a mom like me. She dances like me a lot, which is not common on the Lego community. Let's just be honest. Like it's not a hobby that goes like with the Lego.
It's like people break out into dancing at unexpected times, whereas you will break out into dancing all the time, right?
All the time. And she's like that. Yeah. Like her account is like that. She's full of like, she's a Zumba instructor. She likes to work out, which is something that I'm really passionate about as well. I'm into fitness. So I was like, okay, I can see like potential here. So actually I was at the gym. And I got super anxious when I started looking at all of this similarities between us. And I was like, okay, I can't take this anymore, because I'm kind of like that. Like when I feel that of something, I'm just like, fuck.
You gotta do it.
Boom. So I call her like to this like stranger. Like actually I didn't. I texted first because I'm not a crazy person.
I was just gonna say, how did she respond to that random phone call?
I texted.
Yeah, like who makes a phone call? Like,
I know, right? Like we're in 2000. Like yeah, phone calls are weird. So no, I texted first. I sent it a DM and I told her, hey, listen, I want to talk to you about something. When you have time, please, can I call you, or can you? And she was like, yeah. She actually shared something really personal at that time, and she was like, okay, I like her. I'm not gonna say it on the stream, but it's like I like her honesty. She's kind of like me. So she was like, I'm doing something right now, but yeah, I'll call you back. We're scared.
So you were at the gym, and then you texted her and called her from the gym?
Yes, and she
And
was like,
then
okay,
you
like
connected again.
she was busy and doing stuff, getting ready, and she was like, oh, okay. So I called her, and it felt so natural to call. Like it almost felt like I knew her before. Like we just started talking, and I was like, hey, listen, I just got this, call by a casting agent, and actually she was like, no kidding, like I was reached out last season. Then she told me her experience. You can tell them, and then I continue.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
we've got Carrie in the
I was
chat. Real
just
quick.
gonna say, I
Carrie
just
says
said hello
hi.
to him too. So you've got grandpappies in the house.
Yay!
Yeah, can't wait to hear Tacos' side of this conversation. I'm sure it's totally different. I'm sure we're not getting the whole story.
I'm still trying to focus in on like what did I tell her? I'm like, what like I don't know.
What did I say?
I was probably shaving something.
It's fine.
I was like,
I can be very limber. I'm just saying.
It's
Yeah.
I'll
not
put
a
you on
kid's show,
speakerphone. Let me
Yeah.
keep doing this. Sorry.
Well, my experience last season, they reached out to me. They tried to hook me up with someone with a similar look. She was a rockabilly. She actually looked a little bit like Aubrey, except way more rockabilly, like with the pinup hair and everything. Not gonna say who they were. Their character, we just, I'm very easy to get along with. I consider myself like my kid, like low maintenance, like a Honda. You know what I mean? You can put me in any kind of situation, I will be there. From like strict military to like, laid back, I could sleep on a plank of wood. Like that's on a 2x4. That's how I'm built. So for me to not be able to collaborate with someone else was a little difficult. So with someone with such a strong character. So
So they
that
put
experience,
you
I was like,
on
all
a
right.
waiting list? Is that what happened?
So yeah, we didn't go forward. They started to go ahead and with her, and it didn't go past, the first
because she didn't got me. That's right. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say
each other.
Exactly.
But I had been sought out by several women because they saw that I had some kind of technical ability or something like that, and I didn't respond with them. But yeah, I kind of not prepared, but I joined a couple leagues the entire year, just building like once a week, doing a couple submissions, nothing on Instagram. My Instagram is new to the Lego community. All my Instagram before LEGOMasters was all dance community. So people look at my account, they're like, that's not an AFOL. And I still don't, not that I don't consider myself an AFOL, but that's besides the point.
I was going to say, anyways, you're in LEGOMasters, you're an AFOL. It counts.
Yeah. But yeah,
well, then when I called her, she was like, yeah, she started speaking, like, hey, I was reached out last year. So I got really excited because she's been through this. Like she's already like someone who's into this stuff or been reached out. So I was like, okay, so I have to give them a name for a teammate. Like, would you do this to me? And she's like, yeah, let's do this. And they set up our first interview, and they were like, wow, like you guys have such a good chemistry. Like we live far away, but even like that, and people like till this day, they see us together and say, like, I thought like you girls like knew each other for like since forever. So it kind of like felt very natural. Yeah. And the chemistry was there. So it was pretty easy beyond that point.
That's good. When you first met in person, did you have to have like a dance battle, or were you?
I'm still ticked. Can I just first talk about? I am still ticked off that she's. I don't know. She's like 4 feet taller than me. So for casting, yeah, I have. Even you, Aubrey. Damn it. So she picks me up from the airport. She's
I was like driving.
here I think of this, beautiful little goddess or whatever, and she's just driving and just politely like trying to say hi to me. I'm like, you freaking taller than me? Get out of the car now! She's a couple inches taller than me, but I thought she was petite. I thought she was like this little Thumbelina, like little fairy thing. No, beautiful.
She's like,
she's a model.
I'm the short one. I was supposed to be the tall one.
Me dice, pero si diría mi papá, eres una mujerona. Like you're a big woman.
You're a woman. You're not like tiny little fragile girl. No, you're a woman.
I have strong hands.
If you watch your channel, though, I mean, you do some pretty big projects. Those do-it-yourself projects. You just recently made a dog gate.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you had to do all of that sanding and sawing and gluing and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
I grew up in a household where I had to do tons of hard labor because we were all the women, my mom, my sister, and myself. And like we had to do the things, the stuff, moving the furniture, like fixing plumbing, like we had to do this stuff. So I'm very good with handy stuff because of it, and also because of my education. But yeah, Tacos, actually, she was very like impressed about how my hands like oh, you have very strong hands, right?
I want her to give me a massage like that. Was like, ugh. Like, damn, she got man hands. Like she can give a beating. That's how I view it. I was like, damn. Like I'm the first one to throw down. Like if someone wants to butt heads with me, I'm like, she may be tall. I could take her, but look at her hands.
Well, no. Now you could talk more smack if you were in public together because you would have her to back you up.
That's true.
She's like,
yeah, take off my hoops right away.
Hold my hair.
Don't worry, we won't have any throwdowns on this channel. We want to stay on the air. So now that you've had a chance to, get into the whole interview circuit, how does it feel when you're recognized in public? And I mean, do you like go shopping sometimes and somebody stops you and starts saying, "Don't I know you from LEGOMasters?" How does that feel?
That has never happened to me. I think if I would have stayed in Houston, that would have happened because I used to live 5 minutes away from the Lego store, and I will be window shopping every day. Like they knew me already. One time I was at the shop, like at the Lego store, just looking, and then this new employee comes in and he's like, "Can I help you?" And then the other lady is like, "Oh, don't. She comes here every day and she doesn't buy anything. So like, just leave her alone." So I already was recognized at the Lego store and I wasn't even in LEGOMasters. So I think if I would have stayed there, it would have been a very different story. But here in the town that I live now, it's a very small town. It's a town I just recently me enteré de esto. Like I
just found out about.
I just found out about this today. That it's like a retiree town.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of old people in this, like, so there's not a Lego store here. It's a small town. It's a small place. So that hasn't happened to me yet, like being recognized.
I got recognized at Walmart and I signed a box of Duplo.
Oh, that's so fun.
But this was like months ago. I also have a signature look. How you see me on TV, it's kind of like how I dress my day-to-day, except you only see us for 4 episodes, but like I always have the same kind of look. I'll go to a wedding, I'll go like this if I can, just comfortable.
Can you remember that day that we went to Brick World, Chicago? Because I'm also very colorful in the way that I dress. People ask us, like, how was it like to be like on a box? How the producers try to make a persona out of that. We were wearing our clothes. Like, what were you talking about? And when we were at Brick World, I remember one of the cast members. I'm not gonna say who, but he was like, "Why are you in costume?" I'm like, "Dude, this is my clothes."
It happened to me in Seattle. They're like, "Why'd you come in costume?" I'm like, "It's what I wear."
What are my clothes?
Well, I
Yes.
think Liz and Aaron had mentioned just about everybody on the cast wore their own clothes except for one team. And I think, if I remember right, was it Brendan and Greg who did not wear their own clothes? I think.
Can we talk about this?
Well, they did
did not wear
already.
they did not wear their own clothes, but yet what they wore is so incredibly boring.
Exactly.
Am I allowed to
That
say
was
that?
so weird. It's like, of
Those-
all the people they could have
Yeah.
put in costume, quote unquote, they
Mhm.
chose those two, and they were very plain.
I was
right?
very upset, because I signed up to this show to get free stuff, and then they got all the free stuff. I came back with all my clothes from the thrift stores and Ross and Burlington. I came back with all my cheap clothes. So I'm a little upset about that because they got nice clothes and they
Mhm.
got to take them home. They got to take it home, right?
Wow.
Yes.
I don't know. Did they? What
But
are
yeah,
your favorite moments of the show when you think about it?
What?
Your favorite moment of the
Oh
show?
man, almost all that didn't got show on TV.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember the first time Jamie and Amy approached us, we were like, ah! Like we were super excited. So when we get excited, we start doing this, and we were like, ah! And then Jamie, like I think he's like very empathetic.
Oh yeah, he did it right away.
He's like, oh wow, oh
Like, what's happening? What's happening?
this is what's going on. So that was very nice to see him do that. He was like, oh, I like this place, and he started shaking, and it's just they completely like took down a lot of our scenes from that first episode.
Yeah.
But just to be honest, I've never thought of that watching previous seasons of any of the contestants. Like, oh, they didn't get enough airtime. They didn't get. It's just because you're so concerned about what you went through, and
Mm-hmm.
that you think, oh my god, I didn't get any airtime. But it's just impossible. It's just too many teams, too many people, too many stuff going on,
Yeah.
and too much Will Arnett.
Commercials.
Yeah.
Well-
Commercials. I feel like that's what pays for everything. So I
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is why I want the show to be 2 hours.
Right.
We get
Yeah,
to see
that
all
would
that
be
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I would also like, because everybody says this on every season, I want a supercut of Will's jokes that are not able to be aired on television. 'Cause I've heard that he tells he got away with kind of a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So true. How about you, Tacos? What's your favorite moment?
Once again, stuff that wasn't really featured.
Mhm.
Can I talk about my favorite build or building?
Yeah,
experience?
actually, we are going to go through your builds. Maybe
Wow.
this is a good segue
Or-
too. But
yeah,
is
did you
there
have, like,
another
another-
moment that you had though?
Outside of that, it's actually nothing on set. It's actually more when we're in holding. That sounds weird, that word.
Mhm.
It's when we're not being on set, when we're not being
Mhm.
filmed. We can sometimes have the microphones on us. Getting dressed kind of thing. It was like, oh, okay. Michelle, all right, so I don't know if you've ever seen Ace
I'm
Ventura.
scared. I'm scared.
Hold on. So we've all let our guard down. We've all seen everything. Like, we don't have like actual walls separating us when getting dressed. We literally have a black cloth in this direction, that direction, and it's all dark. You can't see anything. So we basically all go in and out of the dressing room.
You
Everyone
start like super like, ooh, oh,
I know,
ah,
I know.
and then by that like that, I'm like, yeah, like, whatever, yeah, it's just like change.
With I'm getting dressed, I have like one hand going in one direction, and then all of a sudden I just see Michelle's lips through, and she's like, Chica. Chica. So it reminds me of Ace Ventura. So, I don't know why, but that's permanently, paying rent here.
So this will be like our code, right?
So it was
Yeah.
just like the behind the scenes stuff, it was just
I used to behind the scenes, I used to put my AirPods, my earphones, and just dance. And I bet like everybody was doing her own thing to decompress and try to relax. But I remember like just being like dancing, and then like afterwards, like being at home, I was like, I wonder what people were thinking, because they were not listening at anything that I was listening to. They were just like seeing a crazy person dancing there. But those moments, I don't know. I think you're right. That goes like the ones that I might miss the most.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also,
Cool.
I made Will Arnett dance, and they didn't show that either.
Yeah.
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 Well, the judges also came over and they were like admiring at our jewelry. Like I had gears, and like Jamie like kept on like trying to like play with it, because I like stuff that moves clearly. So I'm not wearing those earrings right now, but they're like, you made that? And then they were like admiring her jewelry, and it's like, yeah, this is what we, so it was like cute little admiration things like that. It's like, oh, it's so nice.
It's so great that you didn't know each other before the show, and then during the tryouts, then you made it as a team, and now you're friends. It's awesome. And you were asking about your builds, and yes, we do have your builds queued up.
So let's.
And we're going to talk about your builds first, and then we'll talk about some of the other builds from episode 4.
Yeah, this is just a placeholder for tonight's challenge. But yeah, let's start with episode 1, the Hot Mess Mama's starship.
That was actually I wanted to make it double, like those curves that you see. We wanted to double them. Yeah. And kind of put like the center, like the stage, like kind of like more centered, but we run out of time because remember that first, oh my god.
So there's so much that doesn't get featured. Why? Because there's so many teams and so much coverage, and they have to feature the astronaut, but there's so much that wasn't featured. I like Liz was mentioning something about the jump rope. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. And then they mentioned the trampoline. Yes, there was a trampoline. And meanwhile, you have to entertain Will and all this. It's just...
I was jumping. They brought a trampoline because we're talking about space and,
force and all that. It's just...
So we were jumping on the trampoline. I was jumping there, and none of that got, like, made it to the show. But in the fact when we presented our build, like, they didn't show any of the... things that were inside, like they show it like for like, and they really don't talk much, or they don't let us. We actually explain a lot about our build, but it just like they cut it like super quick.
Yeah, well, like you said, you have so many teams, and they can only do so much coverage, and it's interesting that it's almost like a sandwich, right? They spend a lot of time on the winners and the people who likely may be going home, and then everybody in the middle, it's just boom, 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 boom.
Exactly. And I guess as the shows, like, they start losing teams, and they get a little more airtime each. But yeah, the first episode is definitely impossible because it's just too many things going on at the same time.
Yeah, plus they're just introducing you as teams as well.
Exactly. I was very impressed because they asked about a lot of our lives, and it was never said anywhere that I'm a mom, that I have kids, that I'm married. Like, they don't...
single. She's single, guys.
No, I'm not. But like, they never said that about me, which is weird, because
we weren't featured as moms until the end.
Well, that was the same way with Zach and Wayne. I think they waited until the finale last season to say, "Oh, Zach has like 3 kids and a family," and that really.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, Liz, welcome, Liz. Liz is in the chat.
Hey, Liz. Hi.
But yeah, these are the only 2 shots I have of your build for the first episode.
Yeah, I know.
Exterior, and then this is all we got. So
you can't really see, but we did technically have the light features, but for that angle, they obviously they didn't have the bricks on. That floor is also supposed to turn as well. Supposed to evolve. So
and we had our husbands there Which one of our
Is this-
husbands was
Oh,
no,
this is a kid, right?
that's my
That's one of the
boy
kids.
Georgie, and that's Eric over there floating, and our husbands were like on the control, ¿cómo se dice? La centro de control. And one of them, it was like kind of like motion sick,
Mr.
right?
Taco.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't really see it from here. But no, that's fun. I also like that you all remembered like to be zero gravity in space. So I thought
Yeah.
that was a fun touch.
And well,
Just
something interesting that happened in that challenge is that oh my god, they gave us this piece for the
Port.
dock. ¿Cómo se dice el port?
The port.
Mhm.
Port.
They gave us a port, and they told us that that port was going to be the connection point to the the space
The main
station.
space station.
That's
Mhm.
it, right? So when the beginning of the challenge, they asked me if they can take it. So it was not until hours later that we understood that thing. Of course, we knew that the thing was going to be attached to our ship, but then watching across the room, we realized everybody built within like that port.
Yeah.
It's like we were building, and that thing was like completely like out of sight.
Separate.
So it was super hard. Like,
Oh wow.
yeah, like we
didn't get the assignment right away. It was a quarter, 3/4 of the way, and it's like, oh crap, everyone's built theirs around the port. We should have done that. Like, looking at
I was like,
the firefighters, I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
No, but we didn't have the thing because they asked for us. Then I understood that they asked it for something, but we were supposed to like ask for it back.
Oh no.
So
I was very discouraged when I realized that
Man.
there are no written rules. They basically
No.
tell you the rules. You agree to the rules. Oh, what they present also, while filming and stuff like that, those rules may differ.
Mhm.
Then afterwards
Little.
we break before
Mhm.
we actually start building their more ground rules, and there can be just as ambiguous. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing.
sometimes when they're judging stuff that they supposed to not be part of the, like, I don't know how to explain this, because like I think there's like sometimes very misunderstandings because of the way of how things work out there and how everything's managed. But like they give you like the instructions for the challenge, and then you get like very like points, and then when you get judged, you're like, wait a second, like you told me this or you told me that. So there's like a lot of miscommunication problems around. And like the fact that it's the first challenge and you're very, we have all this adrenaline, all the stress, the rush, is like, it's like one big mix of it's just very challenging.
Yeah.
And when we realized about that port thing, and we had already built the main thing of the ship, we actually lost tons of time trying to make it
Reattach.
secure the attachment,
Oh.
because we did it afterwards.
Retrofit it, right? Yeah.
So can you imagine this whole thing, it was going to be supported by, and it was just Technic bricks. Like we attached it at like last, like
There had to be. We did so much overlapping and underlapping with that port. Oof, we had to counterbalance it, because once again, you're attaching it to the shuttle, which, by the way, moves. It's on strings. It moves, and so here you have this extra like pull, and it made it for really stressful.
So that's why also we didn't have the time to actually make those curves like doubled. So, but you have to like kind of like work with what you have in the time that you have left. And we were just happy that we were not on the bottom.
We couldn't share that, because once again, you start sharing where your struggles are, then then the sharks come after you. So that's basically how it was. So what did I do? I just kept drinking water while I was like, all right, let me turn around, figure it out. I can't even verbalize anything, because once again, the sharks, they taste that blood, they're coming for you.
Chica, was that the challenge when you just turn around and you were
that was every episode.
She was drinking water.
Just look into the lights. Just look into the lights.
So
Just drink
anytime you're
water.
drinking water, you're
Mhm.
thinking about something, but you can't vocalize it because all of the cameras, the microphones, and everything are around you.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
And
wild.
then you're like, you can't talk because they're listening everything,
Mhm.
everything. You can't whisper. You can say, oh my God, like we're messed, like we're in trouble. Like you cannot say
Mhm.
anything because as soon as they listen, you have all
They
the
go.
cameras on you.
It's Jerry Springer all over again.
Yes.
Well, the ship turned out really well. I thought it was cool.
I really like the
Um,
colors. I think
mhm.
that's what really
Mhm.
kind of helped a lot, like the color scheme on it.
Yeah,
Then
I was happy with it. So BFAB, brother from another brick, was trying to just poke fun. He was like, "Yeah, I don't like it." I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "It reminds me of the video theme," and I'm like, "Actually, I love the Lego video because it's
yeah,
so colorful." And I'm like, "Yes, music. Give me all the music." So that's exactly. So him trying to poke daggers actually only reinforced or brought out you know
Mhm.
like, oh, is that? Oh, I take it as a compliment.
That's
Thank
a
you.
compliment.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was going for.
BFAB is interesting. People either love him or they hate him, right?
Yeah.
Because of his style.
I like BFAB. It's okay.
I like him too. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, moving on to episode 2, the Fiesta Crashers. And this was a really cool build. I do remember seeing the pterodactyls spinning
Thank
Oh,
you.
you do
before the end.
remember?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like on the outtake when they were showing you building it, but not the presentation part.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we know it worked.
If it didn't work, it would have made it on screen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Ah.
It worked so well that it didn't make it on the screen. Oh, we're bad. We're bad. No, honestly, that build. Oh my God, I loved it so much. I got so many compliments. So
I'm
many.
gonna want that picture.
I love the water that you did and the whole island effect. It was just so well done. And
Oh, you can see there is Chris Pratt with the Velociraptors, and he's doing like the thing with his hand.
I may have put. We may
There.
have
Oh,
put like
there he is,
There
right?
it is. There it
Okay.
is.
we
He's
may
like,
have put 3 or 4 versions of Chris Pratt around.
Yeah, again, I
Well,
have this shot in the previous one
so
from this episode, unfortunately.
when they are giving us the briefing for this challenge, they're like, okay, dinosaurs, we learn it, boys, on the city, like with people, whatever. I like immediately thought, hey, like every disaster that I grew up with on movies happened in the United States all the time. Godzilla, New York, like Armageddon, the world is like ending in United States,
It's
and
always
then
LA and New York. It's
Las
always LA
Vegas,
and New
Yeah.
York.
Resident
Independence
Evil,
Day.
apocalypses in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? This time is going like it's going down in Mexico. So the first thing that I thought is like a resort.
Mhm.
But then I was like, no, resorts are kind of boring. Like we need like more color, and I got inspiration on Tulum. Tulum is this ruinas de los mayas. And it's a very, very known place in Mexico. It's very beautiful. It's this huge like temple that's on the border of like on a mountain.
Mhm.
So there's the beach, and then it has like a wood staircase that goes into the beach, so like tourists can go down. So this place, the Mayas use them to trade. So they placed that temple right there because they were very smart, and it was a way for them to see like from afar if they have any threats, and at the same time they used to trade by boats, like by on the sea, right? So is this beautiful incredible place. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay, Tulum. But then they tell us that it's about this special effects that we have to really featured in the build. And on Tulum, the temple is actually on the front of the cliff. So that couldn't be there because then it's going to cover the whole thing.
Mhm.
So then I decided to just call it La Ribera Maya, which has like a lot of all other ruins. So it's more like an inspiration, Tulum,
Mhm.
but it's not exactly the same. So that's why we decided to put the temple back there, because in order to make it like the whole special effect like be really the feature of it, we didn't want anything estorbando like on the way.
Mm.
So then I was like, when they gave us the well, we actually remember that we run for those like
Oh, the
eggs.
eggs. Ugh,
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
the
Starting
dinosaur
on the whole
eggs.
running. On your market,
Those
team, go.
those eggs were sharp.
Can we talk?
Yeah,
Can we
they were
talk
all.
about behind the scenes? What
Mhm.
happened? The gore, the blood.
Oh boy.
They
Yeah,
had
who played them?
they had to sterilize those eggs afterwards because oh my god, those were sharp.
Oh.
But yeah, we got the gunpowder trails, and yeah, I think it was like
Mhm.
once you have the inspiration of the bill like really early on, it's really about speed.
Yeah.
And man, that was a big space to cover. But I think I'm very proud because we actually have had one of the more like big builds
We
all
had
of
Mhm.
we had the most built. Like
Yes.
Mhm.
the
A
mass
lot of stuff.
we built. Like I built a lot of structure under that, because not only do you have like, what is it, a 36 by 36 or something like that, or by 42 or something like that.
it was
We built
40 by 40, I think.
something not only wide, but it was also high. So
Yeah, because when we were like, okay, let's do that inspiration on
cliff,
Tulum, the cliff.
Mhm.
It's
cliff
all everything is up.
height,
Like it's
height.
everything is height. So yeah, once we had that idea very early on, it really helped us to build that like structure really like fast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
You are
tacos
fast builders too.
Yeah.
It's
tacos
amazing what you're
tacos
able to accomplish.
tacos did this very like good thing where she placed like beams.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I focus on the structure and finding a way to mass produce things so we could save time, especially
Mhm.
with such a huge build.
Mhm.
you have to come up with things that you can mass produce while the judges come and talk to you,
Yeah.
or Will comes and talk to you, because sometimes if you don't like you're not sure of what you're doing, it's just
You,
lost time. You
yeah,
lose that time.
Mhm.
it's all
That's
lost
really
time.
good advice. And there's a couple questions in the chat too. I'm going to go to this mode so that we don't cover your faces, because if I put this up, it'll cover your face. But one of the questions is, so what did they do with your builds after the show, and did you keep them or did they just take them apart? I think we all know the answer to that one.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, they have to take them apart. That one stayed up. The episode 2 stayed up for a little bit,
Mhm.
just because we're still dealing with the superstar. So,
Oh
Right.
yeah,
and
you're right.
we can't forget about
Everybody's very impressed.
everyone's still very impressed with
He's like,
Chris
"Oh, it-"
Pratt. So they needed to still, have their hand with. But then after that, I believe everything was always taken apart.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there was a whole other section where our creations would be put. It's
Yeah, the
not
only
something that
time
would hang around.
they're not taken apart is when they're being used for animations, right? They get sent over to some studio for that. And then the other time is if they're going to be shipped somewhere, like the one that the firefighters did, Yo-Yo and Crash, that went down to NASA.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, you don't get to see them again. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
That's heartbreaking.
Um,
And now
yes.
this right, actually,
Sorry.
I have to
Wrong
say that
button.
build challenge day 2, whatever you call it, episode 2, hands down my favorite build.
Mhm.
Why? Because yes, it was a crazy ass challenge. Sorry for the language, but I felt like I was almost building at home, or almost building just not in a challenge. It was just her and I. We would be bantering. Yes, there was a day that we were just like really. There was a couple hours where we were mass producing like the structure originally
Mhm.
to lift it up, but I don't know. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, we could tell. I wanted to dance too when you guys were on there. So
Yeah.
now what am I going to do when you guys? Well, we're not going to talk about that yet. So do we have? Sorry, I had to change the setup
No,
because of the questions, but
Yeah. No, I think that
Sharing.
was it. But yeah, speaking of taking the builds apart at the end instead of keeping them, that was unfortunately easier in episode 3 when we had.
Oh yeah.
there she is,
There she is.
Yeah.
Chabelita. Chabelita.
Chabelita.
That was a very stressful challenge. We're not gonna lie. It was very stressful because just technical part of it. I've never. I think there's no AFOL that has ever built for a mechanical bull.
Very, very surprised if there's been somebody who could take the record on that. That was shocking when they brought out that challenge. It's like, wow.
Exactly, and they're talking about technique and technique and the technique aspect of it, and also of course the story behind it. And there you go.
There you go.
As so it was very, very challenging, but once again, once you have the idea, for me, what really helped to set on this idea is, first I wanted to bring my heritage, right? So it was important to me to create a compelling character that really speaks about my culture, but also it was a choice of the techniques, because creating the bones out of technique beams, like that was very helpful for the build to really hold. You can see these arms, like they're like flapping, and they're
those were great.
I love this shot because she's just like just riding and
she's having fun.
Having
she's
fun.
dancing on the bull. Yeah.
I love her legs, like her.
Yes.
So actually, when they briefing the challenge and they're talking about movement, my first thought was the limbs of this character just going all over the place. And when we actually were done with it, and I saw all the other builds, I was like, wow, everybody else made the limbs in a rigid form, which I was very surprised. But I guess like the fact that the character it's just bones, it really helped with the
movement.
Yeah, the movement and everything. But I think it was really also fun, the fact that she had hair and the hair would move.
Hair was so great.
Yeah, I'm very.
That was her touch.
And I'm not gonna lie, we were stressed because like como una calavera, how do you say, a skeleton? Like that thing cracked and cracked like it. Oh my God. When we finished it and they asked us to move it, to put it on the, oh my God, we were sweating because that thing looked like it was just falling apart by moving it from the table to the bowl. I was really surprised of the how well it did, because it had a strong help me with this,
she had a strong core.
She had a strong core. But the fact that she was so dynamic with the form,
with the movement, yes,
it was very stressful.
The arms, the hair, and the colors too on this were just so vibrant.
So we need to talk about first episode and episode 3. So we have to move our challenge, our projects, our builds. The first one, when we placed our project, I'm sorry, I'm used to talking like a teacher. Our build onto the
project,
onto the station, we're all assigned a different place. Well, what they don't show is that they gave us all the wrong numbers, so we had to unmount.
And
then rotate for pictures and videos, and you know how they do the whole graphics. Well, same thing for this, except they didn't give us a wrong number, but they just needed us to move our body, our person onto the saddle, and to actually shift it over. It's rolling on this table, and it seems nice and smooth, except sometimes with all the camera work, they have these like plastic slides over the floor, which just like any kind of little jolt, you could just hear like cracking, and it's just so startling and so traumatizing. I mean, I was happy. I was like, yeah, she's out of my hands. I can't add anything else. But we had to like first fix her onto the saddle to see that whether she fit appropriately.
It was very stressful because you really did not know until the camera was rolling and you were just about to find out with everybody else how like well you were gonna do. So it's hard not to have like a test run.
When right before filming, I mean not during filming, did we actually mount it on, or was it already pre-mounted?
No, we mounted on it. So for the shots.
But when they call us, you know, Christina, Michelle, no, someone else is mounting it. I don't remember.
I remember attaching those
the pins. Yeah,
I remember attaching those.
Yeah, at one point.
Is Liz still in the chat? Because is Liz still in the chat? Do you remember? I think this has been a common theme because Liz and Aaron said there's a lot of details that they couldn't remember about whether they put things on the bull or if they attach certain things. Because we asked them about, they had the capes, and on the back of their Rootin' Tootin' Tootie, they had this nice little design, and they couldn't remember which one of them did that.
Yeah, it's
one of us did it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more stressful like you having to mount it or watching somebody else mount your creation that you spend so much time on.
I think it's more stressful you to mount it because if you mess up, it's on you. If they mess up, it's like, it's not my problem. So we were sweating that entire time. The builds definitely go through a lot of tests before they make it like all the way to the end. So that was a very stressful challenge, but I was so happy with the result and how she did.
Oh, she's beautiful. Yeah. And somebody asked in the chat, how much do you think she weighed?
I don't think she was that heavy because we use just Technics. You know what I mean? I would say that the heaviest was the core and definitely the head. The head's always the heaviest, I would have to say.
The core was just like a spine of Technique.
Which had to be built up 3 times because Brickmaster Jamie came over and questioned my structural integrity, which was super stressful. So they featured the doctors more about their structural integrity and using the ball joints. And I'm like, I don't know who suffered more because I not only was I still suffering from an injury from episode 2, racing for the eggs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I literally pulled a muscle and everything. I had my leg wrapped and had medics see me, but like you're still dealing with all of this.
Wow.
It was just too much.
It's a lot of stress.
But the good thing is how long it lasted, and then the last words sadly weren't featured, which is I served
well, here we can give you full screen if you want to. But actually, let's talk about your ending words after the last build.
Okay.
For that build.
Well, I thought you said you did your ending words weren't featured.
Specific words for this build.
For this build. Okay, I'm sorry.
So Brickmaster Jamie, he had said that he was surprised on how long it lasted, especially the limbs and how strong, because the limbs actually, once the torso fell off, the limbs were actually still attached. Whoa. Is it me?
Your last words.
The limbs and head were still attached. The only thing that stayed on the bull were her legs, but her arms, they stayed on. What did fall off, which someone had mentioned, I think it was someone else in a podcast, they thought it was her arms. It was actually her clavicle, which so that was just all, but Brickmaster Jamie had said that I had served him a nice slice of humble pie. So.
Yeah, they didn't feature that. Yeah.
All right.
But
Sure.
We got full screen on our show for that.
Yeah.
So we could take that clip and then send it to them. Yeah, but you do have some nice closing remarks for this particular build. So we'll give you that time too.
Here's the fairy B&B. And here's they sent us all these nice shots of you two with your build for all the contestants. They sent us shots of all the teams with their builds.
Look at how much I'm smiling, and yet they chose to show me all the time, like very upset. But I guess it's what makes good TV.
Like they showed that on the previews that obviously y'all were struggling, and usually when they do that, it's a misdirection. So like I was not prepared for y'all to go home.
Oh,
but we're here to celebrate you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because this was a really cool concept.
And if you listened to Brick and Nick's show last night, John and Xavier had said if you had more time with this concept, that they would have gone home. Mm-hmm. Because you really cranked out this amazing sculpture in 3 hours, 3.5 hours, something like that?
3.5,
yeah. And so many great details in this.
It could have been 4 hours. It could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted her to make some kind of grand entrance.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have some shots of some of the other details here. And hang on one second. This is so this is tacos, right? Because this is Michelle. This is Michelle. And then
that's my natural curly hair.
Okay.
Which was destroyed after the show.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Yeah, and several people in the chat said, for the time you had, it was amazing. And sorry, folks, I'm not going to put your comments on the screen because it covers up Michelle's face. So in this particular view.
Oh.
Right. So Debo asks, what were some of the treehouse ideas you didn't go with? And I know you talked about this yesterday on Brick and Nick's channel, and I think part of it, and of course, you can do a better job explaining, is that some of it was not or intellectual property that you weren't able to use.
So we pitched a couple of ideas, and one of them was free domained. We had first run it by them. They're like, "Oh, we'll look it up." So in the meantime, her and I are building.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will come back
Yellow Brick Road. That should be enough information.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't know, like about 40 minutes later, they're like, "No, it's revoked."
Yeah.
So another one was
also was the story, the child story books. The remember that you told me like
Grimm's fairy tales.
No, like the Red Riding Hood.
Back in the day.
The tree is that called fairy tales? Son cuentos de niños? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she was having that idea, and they were like, no, you cannot use that because it's I don't know.
Not public domain, but
they wanted it to be completely original. I was like, all right, maybe like a fractured fairy tale. And so I did try to harness that, but her interpretation of fairy tales is very different from mine. I have the Americanized version in my head. She has a Grimm's fairy tale, all grayscale. Mine is all colorful. So I think that was also part of an issue where we weren't understanding what each other's vision was.
For me, it's always very important. I had this stuck into my mind that it was very important to personalize it because I think as a team, that was kind of one of our strong. ¿Cuál es la palabra?
Suits. It was just one of our.
It was one of our strengths. Like the storytelling, the background behind it, and it was very important to me to really, have it like with a meaning behind it.
I just wanted to fake it. I just wanted to give big iconic pieces, and that's exactly what we did. I didn't fake it with this though. We have to personalize this.
Yes, yes. But that was very hard also because we both have very different backgrounds, even
Mhm.
though we've both are Hispanics, and Mexico is very different. Like her culture is very different from mine. So it's kind of hard to make it work. Um, for the theme to resonate with both of us. So between that, between all the stress that is already building up from previous episodes, the fact that you have no privacy whatsoever.
We're
Yeah.
exhausted. We're under. Yeah, we haven't
Well,
slept. We're
you
hungry.
mentioned it on Brick and Nick's show that they had bad food too. Bad food, little sleep, all the lights, and all the stress that you were under. Yeah.
It took me, and this is on a personal level, it took me a lot of time once I come back home to get back into my healthy way of living that I had
Mhm.
before the show, because I was on this very healthy diet. I was on this very healthy routine of, everything balanced, and that kind of like really changed things up for me. Um, they had like Red Bull there,
Oh boy.
chocolates and stuff,
Chocolate cake,
and stuff. It's stuff that maybe it's just like something.
M&Ms in every basket, soda.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
you're like working, you're rushed, you don't want to lose time, you're hungry, you grab the first thing that you have there, and it's all of those minor things that maybe you don't think of it. It's just like it just kind of builds up.
I gained 11 pounds while I was there.
Wow.
I can't even
Wow.
imagine how much crash. I'm the kind of person that I stress eat, and I crash like he's lost 35 pounds
Oh
since
my gosh.
you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like I like
So
it's
when you were on
crazy.
the show,
There's no time
because
for working out. There's no time for looking
right,
out for your
We
health.
tried it. We tried it.
We tried.
Remember, because
tried.
we work out every single day, and I
Yeah.
take it as a part of mental health.
yeah,
I have to do it, and I think we could just do it the first couple of days, and after that is like no way.
After the first week, you're too exhausted.
too tired. Yeah, you just go home
If
and,
I
and
can
get
mention,
back to
I'm
work.
not sure if I'm allowed to mention this, but I was told. So I teach Zumba fitness. I teach it virtually. I teach it in person. I was told that I can teach that at nighttime.
No way.
Oh,
By the
Unless
time we got back to my room,
unless you could teach like at 3 a.m. in the morning and be ready by, it's just no.
Why? Just have more Red Bulls. Come on, they're free. We got them here. Come on, what's the problem?
my shins were burning every day, and once
right.
again, I teach Zumba. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm a
Yeah.
teacher. I'm always on my feet, and
I
it
have
was-
no idea how Stacy did it. I have the most respect for her because
Right, because she
they
was wearing heels the whole time.
yes.
Well, she changed the flats finally,
Oh,
but still,
Wow.
flats aren't comfortable. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Well,
exactly.
somebody else in season 1 worked out before the episode to get herself trained. It was the other woman who had the bows in her hair, the one who did the mermaid. Why am I-
Jessica.
Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica.
Jessica, yeah. She apparently worked out to get ready for the show because she knew she was going to be on her feet for that long.
Yeah.
But with both of you being so healthy and fit, to hear that you were in such pain,
Yeah.
just thank you for entertaining us. Oh my God, that you would put your bodies through that.
The
for us.
first episode, I was wearing a Vans, which are pretty comfortable, and I swear by the end of it, I was hurting because we were at the last table, so we were doing a lot of running, and because of the same thing, that is the first challenge. You're trying to give it you're fresh,
Yeah.
so you're giving it your all.
Mhm.
It wears you out pretty quickly.
Mm.
It is. I have
Oh my goodness.
also a lot of respect for Patrick.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, his first shoes.
You're talking
he
about
he
the
was wearing
grandpappies, right?
he was wearing this. Oh my God, cosita bello. He was wearing this shiny, amazing shoes. He was so hurt, but thank
Oh.
God they
Imagine.
they could convince people for the second episode to change it onto shoes because they wanted him to wear those same shiny shoes, but it's just
too hard.
And
Oh,
Carrie
my
goodness.
had those clown shoes. I was like, how would you even be able to do that? You remember
Yes.
the clown shoes? Like,
I remember. I remember.
ridiculous.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a lot of hard work that it doesn't make it on. Like it's just like no
Mhm.
way people can know. I for sure did not know it was like that.
Yeah. So are you? We have another question in the chat. Can you wear like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch? Nope.
No watches, no cell phones. Yes, I saw something about if we were able to take pictures where there's no while your microphones are on, there's no cameras, no cell phone, no smart devices. The clock is off. They turn the clock on for the TV. So we have no concept of time. No,
Wow.
sometimes they'll be like, all right, 5 hours left, and then you'll see the 5.
Can you
and then-
remember? Can you remember? Then it went super cold, and then it went super hot, and you're like, "Is it my hormones? Like, what is going on?"
Oh no!
No.
Remember,
It was
it's reality. It's reality TV. It's all to invoke our stress. That's how I view it.
Wow.
But I do it
Wow.
again because I'm psychotic, clearly. So
But you've also made some amazing friendships on the show. too.
absolutely,
Yeah.
no regrets.
I get asked that question a lot. Like, okay, would you do? Definitely 100%. And would you say to anyone who wants, like, no, do it, like, do it, you're not gonna regret it. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's an experience, very incredible, and like anything, it comes with a cost, right?
Yeah.
Nothing is free in this
Nothing
life,
is free. That's true.
and you have to work for it, and everything that matters has like a very high price, but it's just the reward you get from the experience. It's just, you cannot put
No.
a price onto that. It's like we're part of LEGOMasters history now.
That's right.
We're part of the show. We met some amazing people that we're gonna bond, like we're gonna share relationship with.
We're all gonna
like,
get matching tramp stamps.
yeah.
Yeah, has that not
That
happened
is how
already?
close we are. We have like a daily chat, like a group chat that we. It's
Well, one of the contestants already has one because she showed it over in BrickCon. I will not name who that is, but if you
we
do
all
that,
know- we all know
you're all
who-
going to have to match her.
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't mind.
And you got Aubrey's attention.
Actually, Yo-Yo at Seattle. Did you not see the brick on the side of his head? I told him I'm not doing
no, I
that.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Shaved
who-
his
who
head.
had
Like,
that?
has a
I was
big-
like, Yo-Yo, I'm not shaving
Oh,
my
Yo-Yo
head.
has it.
I'm not
oh,
shaving my head.
wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about that other contestant who does have the tramp stamp.
We're talking about you, Julio.
I didn't say any names. So
I didn't see this. I have no idea who this is, but
well, let's
you
just
know.
say there's a lot of drinking that happens at conventions. People will reveal things about themselves. So I wanted to check with you ladies about how much time you have, because we do want to also go through some of the other builds, and I want to make sure, do you have time to also go through some of the other builds with us too?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't want to, we've had you for an hour and 10 minutes, and it's like,
yeah.
so thank you.
Can
This
I
is
mention
great.
while we're still talking about this episode? Our tree had the most bugs.
Yeah,
Oh.
somebody mentioned there was just a ton of random bugs on the trees.
Chica, did you
Yes.
experience that? I was mostly like building up top, so I had a little
I was
step
like-
stool or whatever. But yeah, we're all like itchy. Holy
Oh
cow.
no.
It was bad. And then
Yeah.
Liz
That
broke
is-
out into hives. Apparently, she was allergic to the tree.
Yeah.
So she
Oh.
sent pieces over to Aaron.
Yes. That,
It was
like,
fun.
Oh,
But it was-
no.
I was like, why they didn't like do something? Like,
It's like,
we were
they
were tiny-
little pest control.
like, they look like fleas, kind of like I'm itching right now. Just
Oh,
remembering.
no.
Weird.
Everyone's
yeah,
all of a sudden
This is
just
definitely
scratch
behind the scenes stuff that they don't show on television.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
this,
know.
it would have been entertaining to see me eat a bug. Just saying.
Oh,
I'm not very classy.
So
when
that's why
talking.
you were drinking the water so much, right? And wash those bugs down. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
these specific trees, I talked to my like botanist friends, and they told me that they looked at this tree and they were like, well, it takes like between like 1 and 3 years to cultivate a tree like this, to get it to where the branches are just so and
Wow.
the ends are like that. So I'm sure that there were some insects that had taken residence for a long time in those trees. I didn't even think of that, but
Yeah, it
I
was
looked
covered
up-
in bugs.
I looked up those trees. I was like, oh my gosh, such a beautiful tree. Let me get it once I get back home. And it was like hundreds of dollars. I was like,
Yeah.
no,
No, everything there is expensive. Yeah.
forget
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
Type
yeah,
tree.
it's
Como
some
dice
kind of
Tacos.
pine.
Forget about it.
Forget
That's
about
But yeah, you have
Forget
to
about it.
these you have to deliberately like shape the tree for years to get it to do this. So
Oh.
you know they must have had this idea years ago, which is kind of cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
Tacos also has a phrase where she says, no gracias.
No
No
gracias.
gracias.
No gracias. No gracias.
Funny thing is that I've actually built a tree house on a tree, a Lego, but nothing to this scale. It was just something like this big, I would have to say. So, I think I'm probably one of the only people that was on this season that had experienced that. But yeah, trees are flexible. So, some of the people like the rookies, Dom and Ethan.
Here's what I found on the internet.
Why is my phone like talking? Sorcery! Stop it! But yeah, like if you notice, they built on the bushes at the
Yeah.
end. So that to me was a little incredible. It was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm like, all
And
right, someone has a
speaking of
technique
which,
that's in there.
this
or
is their
something.
build.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I wanted to just go and just, but I had to play nice. I had to be nice.
Cositas.
you just you run into the brick pit. Anything can happen, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I kept running into the Golden Boys. Brendan and Greg's tree. They were right next to me, so I kept on. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't. I promise.
Chica, that nickname is not out there.
It's not there.
That's just between us.
Oh, anyway,
It's out there now.
they're
it's
perfect.
okay.
They're perfect. Those guys are perfect.
It's just there's no way there's like they're just perfect. And
Wholesome
they're like,
white bread.
oh yeah, like
It's
yeah,
not
I'm the Coast Guard and then oh yeah, and then I'm speaking Spanish, and then Brother starts like, ¿Cómo estás? And he doesn't get. I was like, you speak Spanish, and then he speaks like, oh my god, like stop it now.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Naomi can go back and edit that out when we post the video, right?
We'll chat after the stream's over about what we can keep and what we have to.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, just forget about that.
Forget about
Well,
it.
no.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
Forget about it.
we all came
Forget
in with
about it.
some kind of team name, and so their name was the Iron Men. So we're like,
Right.
they're like the Golden Brick Boys or something like that. So that was they're like, they want you to banter. So I think I said that several times on screen. So
We're Latinas. We're our team is Latinas who Lego, but we were called chicas, las chicas. That's our nickname.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is Ethan and Dom's build.
I'm loving the characters. That they're so
That looks
fun.
like Louise from Bob's Burgers,
Yeah,
Which
Yes.
one?
the one with the green dress.
Yeah.
definitely.
With the rabbit
And I
ears
think the thing about all these brick built characters, which by the way, Ethan is going to be on this stream on Sunday for a Builder's Insights discussion.
Ooh,
So
cool.
he's going to talk about brick building characters. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence and just what his experience was like too. But that's more focused on technique. We're
Nice.
focusing here not only on your technique but also the review of the show.
Yeah.
I think it was very smart for them to
Yeah.
do those brick build characters, because we know what Lego Masters is about, and it's always about to be able to understand your build from
Across the
afar,
room.
from across the room. So those were pretty fun, and they're very colorful, very childlike. So
Mhm.
I really, really like their build.
He does this too on his TikTok stream.
Yes.
Him and Brick and Nick are also. He's also known for brick built characters too.
Yes. Oh yeah, Nick has a style. I've always told him that to him, that I can tell when Nick built something, because he has that cartoonish,
Yep.
cartoonish, kind of childish kind of style that it's really fun.
Ethan has his own signature to it. You're familiar with his work. It's like, that's Ethan's.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Definitely.
I love this jacket here. It's pretty great.
Yes.
Yes, the jacket and the striped shirt underneath too.
Yeah, that's a
And
very...
the concept was almost like like taking all the classic Lego themes, like you have your pirate, your space, your castle, and kind of transferring them onto the build. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it was Dominic that came up with the concept, and I feel like Ethan is the one who,
did the execution.
The execution. Yeah.
But yeah, good show for the first time on the show. But yeah, here's Steven and Steven's Treehouse University.
Ay, cositas bellos.
And we call them Yo-Yo and Crash.
Yo-Yo and Crash, that's right.
Yo-Yo is Stephen Jew, and then Crash is Stephen Castley.
Yeah.
And again, these photos with the teams next to the
I really like the build of them, because I think out of all of them, they built the most on like almost every part of the tree.
Yeah.
Like they covered a lot. And
they sure did.
Pictures don't do it justice. Pictures really don't do it justice. From this one, I remember just being across from them, like adjacent, and just being so surprised. I'm like, what the heck is that? Is that they have like an entire city over there? But come up close, and the pictures don't show it as colorful as everything is in person. So it's just
right.
I'm surprised.
In the library.
And I really love the stories.
Yes,
the cats.
The cats.
My boy, he is like the biggest fan of the firefighters. He wants to be a firefighter. So he was laughing. He was having fun with that bill, like that specific, whole, teaching the cats not to go.
Stay out of the trees, cats.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty fun.
Plus, they had that interview with them about how it's really dangerous too, because the cats usually don't want to come with the firefighter when they're being extracted out of the tree.
Yeah.
But all those teapots too.
Yeah. And all the plant life.
I think they were the ones that did the best job on covering the most amount of tree space in there, because they almost let me see that picture again with the whole tree. Like, look at that. Like, there's not even one single piece of wood like that doesn't have something on it.
Yeah, even the top has I guess these are solar panels.
Exactly.
Like, so
yeah, that's very, very cool.
Yeah, stuff going on. And I guess this is an elevator too.
Yeah, look at that. I didn't even see that. Yeah,
movement. So that would have been nice.
Pretty sweet.
Well, somebody said on another channel that there was only one motor, and that I think Greg and Brendan got the motor because they were the ones who were able to pull it up and down.
Yeah, that's right.
I originally wanted to use a motor, but
somebody else had it.
But yeah, here's Liz and Aaron and their massive pirate ship.
Yeah. I really love the theme on it. Of course,
yes,
being a woman and girls rock.
I love the contrast from the purple on the exterior to the inside. The flooring is black and white, so it's basically a dance floor. And they had so many minifigures. They had like 50 minifigures there. So it was actually just really cool to just go from the outside in. I thought it was actually really awesome.
We got to see a little bit of it. This is really the only shot of the interior of the ship that they showed. But you can see a little bit of this tile work here.
Yeah.
And of course the stage and this
there's so much detail on there. And then when we interviewed them, they also mentioned that they had such a hard time too with just time management many times, and that we heard from Brick and Nick's show that they had a meltdown on stage as well, but they they cried it out, and everything came together at the last minute.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of helped them to not get featured there with the bill.
It's
Take a
really,
bow,
it's-
Michelle.
You're
Take a
welcome.
bow.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Liz.
Yeah. but yeah,
Yeah, if you go back and listen to Brick and Nick's show from yesterday on Twitch, they go in a lot of detail about all the things that happened to them, but all the cameras were on the two of you during that time.
Yeah.
and yeah, I like this this guy. I can't tell if he's excited to walk the plank or not. He's like dressed for it, but his expression is like,
Nah,
I
he's
don't know if
like
I want to do this.
he doesn't. Yeah, he's not very excited.
He's like,
about it.
he's like, I don't know, take the plank or get on a boat with 50 other women. That's how I view it. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, take my chances out at sea.
Or there are skeletons on the boat too. It's not just women, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a fun pirate ship, and another concert from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. But
Well,
yeah,
they're
next
very
we have,
musical. So I think
Oh,
there's a
those-
theme that continues with many of their
Mhm.
builds is the music.
Mm-hmm. They actually are very good singers, and they play the ukulele. And I thought that we at some point we're gonna see that on TV, and we
Well,
haven't. We haven't seen
we have
it
to wait
yet.
and see. We have to wait and
Okay.
see.
yeah, we'll wait. Yeah.
So that build from the doctors. Oh my God, those books look from a
Yeah.
set.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Amazing.
was very, very, very impressive.
Yeah. Austin and
Yeah.
Justin.
Mm-hmm. I really liked their build, and it was not featured at all. Like,
Yeah, that was one of the ones that they just glossed over real quickly.
Yeah, because this is supposed to be. I keep forgetting which one has the mohawk.
Austin.
Austin.
Okay. So here's
Austin
Austin.
from Austin.
Austin.
That's how he introduced himself at BrickCon. I'm
Okay.
Austin from Austin. Yeah.
Oh,
And here's Justin, and Justin is on yet another pirate ship.
yeah.
Naomi,
that
did
was
you
pretty
produce this episode? Like, what's happening?
And for those of you who don't know, I'm known to build a pirate ship almost out of anything. When we do
Oh.
rebrick challenges, yeah, there's always a pirate ship that comes out of it.
Yeah. And when she isn't building a pirate ship, she's building
Pandas.
a panda.
So
Oh.
I put pandas and pirate ships together, and
So-
so I've already announced what my next panda build's going to be. It's going to be pandas in Egypt. It's going to be
Oh my
like a
God.
sphinx shape, but with the panda head, and then like the pyramid, the interior of the pyramid with pandas and mummies and all kinds of cool things. So,
That sounds so.
so don't take my
awesome.
idea.
Okay, we won't.
Yeah, it's
But
for
yeah,
another
these-
dimension.
Mhm.
So they wanted to know if we got to see anyone else's builds. So oftentimes, if you're stressed, you're basically staying at your own station till you deal with your issues.
Mhm.
Sometimes even after we were done building and the clock, they send us home. Sometimes they rush us out. Like, do you remember like walking around to other tables like, oh my gosh, and then all of a sudden they're like, all right, you guys got to keep going. So sadly, we don't always get to experience anyone else's builds. We get to experience it on TV, unfortunately.
I just remember something about the Jurassic Park episode that we wanted to build around the table because they wanted to keep us like on the back of it, and I was like trying to reach to the
3
front.
out of the 4.
Oh, you couldn't.
So you build only 3 out of the 4 sides of the table. There is a camera angle, always watching, always listening. So
I was
Oh,
like,
that's
my
so
hands
cool.
get stressed.
Yeah, like
I love this book. This
Oh
book
my
is
God.
so perfect.
I
Yeah.
know those
Mhm.
the ones that he used. It looks so cool in person, and I'm very sad that it was not featured that much on the show because it was
Yeah,
a
the
very
details are just so cool.
Mhm.
Look at that. I
Mhm.
really like how that looked.
Yeah, here's this was also supposed to be a rocket ship, but they didn't really show it, so
Yeah.
that's what we get.
Mhm.
But yeah, great job, doctors. Next up is Dave and Emily and
Mhm.
their Candy Treehouse
Just
and
like
their
that.
clearable sports team shirt.
Right.
I love
Okay. So tacos. How tall are you compared to Emily?
No, she's a midget. I'm just gonna put it out there. But I'm someone who doesn't take crap for anyone. She probably will bark at me. I could probably take her. I could probably take her. No, what is she? She's like 5'1".
I don't know, the chiquitas, the
I
chiquita,
know. I
chiquita.
know.
We'll,
Look at Chihuahua.
we'll
That
put it on the
that
list of questions to ask her if they come on the show.
that build. Oh my god, I spent a lot of time looking at that build.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think I saw Ben asking, do y'all get time to go around and look at each other builds?
At
In
this
one,
episode, yes,
because of
because
we couldn't move the builds, so
yeah,
we would have to be like standing around our. So
the
when they
judges
were,
came over to us, so we had to move out of the way so then they could make space for the cameramen and to censor the judges so they could talk to the contestants. So that's when you saw a picture of me uploaded, like laughing in the background and behind the scenes kind of thing, having a stroke. Yeah, that was me.
we were messing with the cameramen. Remember?
I remember the you know
I
the whole
remember we were doing like those. It was like
I picked my
challenge.
nose, smelling my pits.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, come on. I think at a certain point they were like, let's just look away. Like we were just like, it was a lot of time waiting on that one because
Mhm.
of that we had to wait until the judges came with each of the teams. So we had a lot of time, and they were two. It was al lado de nosotros. It was the brothers, and then them, like Brendan and Greg, and then Emily and Dave. So I got to see a lot of their build, and it was very nicely done as well. I really thought,
Architecturally so beautiful.
Mhm.
oh
Oh, and the
yes,
opening.
Yeah, and this toast and the top of these things, that must have taken them forever to put all these details on.
It's
All
a
the
lot
sprinkles
on
on the toast.
The
I got
toast is
this as a
perfect.
gift from one of my during the Christmas holidays, the Secret Santa. They sent me some of those sprinkles, and they're really good.
Oh, neat.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can.
And then they opened it, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Exactly.
my
With the
goodness.
hinges.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a very beautiful build. The sad thing about it is just maybe the colors or the fact that it's just like a modular build.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like a
From
hotel.
from afar, it doesn't look as dynamic as the other builds.
Yeah,
But
that's
honestly, the fact that they built so much and
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
so good, so like so well done.
Yeah.
I really love that
Mhm.
build.
It's a very clean, but to me it does not read children. It does not. Like it looks like a penthouse, like it looks like it's
Mhm.
in New York kind of thing. So,
So
but
it goes back
I
to
love
right.
the toast on the side, the pastries up top.
Yeah,
That definitely
those were adorable.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
there's
like a modular, like you'd see in a city.
Once again, you need to
Yeah.
recognize it from across the room.
Mhm.
And what was most recognizable was not even the house; it was the toast, the pastries. You know,
Mhm.
and there's something on these adjoining branches here, but they never really showed it, so I'm not sure. There's one on this side and one on the other side that we can't really see.
I don't remember what it was.
So like there's some kind of like barn or something over here,
Yeah.
and then there's something on this side.
such a beautiful build. Holy
So
cow!
yeah, but cool build overall. Looking forward to seeing what they get away with next, sports shirt wise.
Sports streetway.
See what's next.
Right. Well, they're usually something having to do with Canada, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Oh my god.
Okay. So yeah, this
So
is
fun.
Brennan and Greg's.
That was
So
a
fun.
beautiful build.
Yeah.
It was full of story. It had like it had everything on it.
That was
honestly.
top 2 for me. Honestly, that was top 2 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were al lado, like beside us. So the fact
Yeah,
that
they had the motion.
they personalize it like it was their family members. So every single detail that you see, and it's very recognizable.
Every sibling had their interest.
There's this one they didn't talk about on the show. It looks like music notes and a piano or something.
Yeah, I think it's one of the sisters that's into music, and they have like the motorized function of the elevator. The sister that I think is something de los caballos, like the horses, right?
The horse. Yeah, this is the horse head. And this is some kind of creature, raccoon.
Oh, the raccoon. Oh,
okay,
yeah, raccoon. Yeah.
And let's see. This is
the engineering. Yeah, the brother.
engineering.
Brendan is like he has like a very engineering. Oh, the salad! I love that one.
Made me laugh.
With the water,
That's adorable. That's adorable.
This was really funny to me for some reason. That she's just never stops. You know, she's got her barbell and water in a salad.
And I don't know, it looks so dynamic. It looks like they covering a lot of space. Each build had each sibling has a color. I don't know. For me it was
we on this show we do first, second, and third place, so we can nominate that as a third.
You know, like the Olympics. You know, because we have Team USA and Team Canada, and you know we're doing a running medal count, so we'll determine that at the end. But yeah, I was just curious about I don't think we heard about the yellow building either.
There's a lot of siblings. So they're like the what's that pen that has like 19 and counting. That's how I could.
They said 8, right? I think they belong with 8 siblings or 8 total.
It's a long time without a cocktail. Sorry. Sorry.
There was another interview where you talked about giving birth too, which you used some graphic terms there too. I did not use that clip, if you noticed, when I did the ad.
Thank you.
That's in now. That's all the new Game of Thrones is about. Just people giving birth. But yeah. Anyway, moving on.
You know, this was one of my favorites.
So cute.
They're so adorable.
La cascada, the water. Remember how beautiful
the
water.
brick-built characters it was so freaking cute.
Yeah, here's the water.
The panda mom too, sleeping.
Here's the panda at the end of the water.
The biggest thing for me with this build is the colors. They pick like these colors, and yes, there's a little bit of green there, but the blue and the black, white, and red, it just pops.
Well, they modeled it after, because Emily and I have been chatting online, and she lived in China for a while. Yeah. And so they modeled it after some Chinese homes. So that's where the red comes in. And but I just loved this whole build, not just because of the pandas, but because of all of the beautiful techniques.
It's okay to, love it like that. Do y'all happen to know what this signage was supposed to represent?
I forgot what he said. Do you remember what?
I don't remember.
If you know, that's okay.
But I remember it being an issue because it had to be approved because they wanted to make sure that it wasn't offensive or anything like that.
Right.
I'm like, Liam wouldn't do anything like that. You know what I mean? Liam is like the most wholesome person. I forgot what it meant.
But I mean, you can tell it's deliberate. Like this isn't just a random pattern. So I was really curious about what it meant. But that's okay. We'll have to save that for hopefully when they join us.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Z's are universal, of course.
Yes.
That was also one of my favorite builds, I must say. Alongside Brendan and Greg. I don't know if it's because they were on both of our sides.
We're sandwiched between them.
We're standing between those, but it's childlike. It's
Mhm.
playful. The
Mhm.
little pandas, like they're, running like all over the place. Mama panda's like tired and sleeping. I could relate so much to this build. And then the colors, like I remember
Mhm.
looking at that water fountain and thinking
Yeah.
la cascada, perdón, waterfall.
Cascade.
Waterfold. Yeah.
Mhm.
And thinking, wow, that is so smart. Like how they made it. I don't know. Overall, I think it's
Now
a
they
Yeah, just with
combined
the
the white with the blue as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was
That's a
listening
really,
to yeah, I heard that over a podcast that was kind of taken from Jacob and Caleb's last season from with the castle.
Oh.
Or not the castle.
Mhm.
Well, I think it's the floating island ones or something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that
The
was also
floating island.
inspired by someone else, I think in Canada.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, we don't. I say
These-
that we get inspired. We don't steal ideas. We
Yeah.
get inspired.
Yeah, you pay homage
You know,
to
you
these
have to
other
borrow.
builders.
It's nothing wrong with borrowing. It's all good. But yeah, this was pretty fun. So now we're gonna move on to John and Xavier's build.
I really love how they animated that one because we got to see all
Mhm.
those little stories that they had on their build, and I really found them really fun to watch.
Yeah,
All
this
their
was yeah.
all their interests, right? Like the
The
wall
rock
climbing.
climbing. I don't like the rock climbing. Oh, they had me at that.
Yes.
And this is the D&D, and I just really thought it was interesting
Oh,
using the
the
jewel
gem.
piece
Yeah,
as a dice.
At the
Mhm.
dice. Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah.
never seen that before, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then they had this little mecha thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's up there, right?
Yeah.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
Well, Mecca is just so him too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's another concert. Yeah, and then
I
this
was
is
I was I was mentioning this yesterday with Nick, but they got really criticized about the choice of color
Mhm.
of what they build
Onto the trunk.
onto the truck. And I understand, they're trying to look for color and everything, but at the same time, I think it really made pop that staircase, which I think is the main
Mhm. That's the main focus. Yeah.
focus of this build, which I think the whole idea was based on that Lego stairs,
Yeah.
making
Merging both.
them come connect and come together, which I think for me it was I don't know. I think if they would have make it all colorful, then you would got lost. Like the
That's
stair would have
true.
got lost.
They
Yeah.
could have picked one or two colors that was a primary color. They wouldn't have to stick with a full rainbow thing. But what they built was really cool. You
Yeah.
could just keep looking at it because it's just story after story.
Those stairs were like very very fun to watch for me. I remember watching
We
that.
were all looking at it. I was like, "Yeah, I'm jotting that down. I'm gonna do that next time."
I'm gonna get inspired and borrow your idea.
yeah, it looks like
Yep. The
a
quarter.
simple build.
Yeah.
But
Devo
yeah,
says
here's
it's got Ewok Village vibes.
Yep.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that's cool.
Now, I have a question about the minifigs. So when you go to the brick pit, are the minifigs all just in a big pile and you got to dig through them, or do they separate them by, children? and-
Torso or leg.
Hair in one section, torsos in
Mhm.
another section, pants in
Oh,
another
okay.
section.
Just that those parts, but like not like women, men, children. No,
All mixed.
like it's all
Oh, okay.
heads, it's all torsos, and all legs, and
Yeah.
then all
Okay.
accessories like hair and everything else. It's on another.
Some of that
Right.
stuff can go skimp at times. When you have people like Liz and Aaron who steal like 50 minifigs.
Or the capes. She took all the
The capes.
capes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes. So fun fact, like I made the mushrooms, and the mushrooms, obviously all the stuff is done at the last minute. You'll notice, well, I don't know if you can notice, you have a bunch of angled like plates, and in one part you have them in looking into the opposite section. So I go and request these pieces, they're like, oh, okay, it's supposed to be in stock. They only have like 4 No, they only had 3 facing towards the left, and they had like 40 facing to the right. I'm like, all right, well, how about more to the left? I'm like, oh, can you go get it? And they're like, okay, you can go back to your table. 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, it's still not there. They're still looking for it. So sometimes there are pieces that just go missing.
That's so frustrating, not being able to have the symmetry of like both the left and the right, like just having the one side of pieces.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Because they say, the show promotes that, it has over 3,000 pieces, but sometimes you may not have 50 of the same piece, In the next episode, I can't even imagine the dog challenge. I think you've seen some of the pictures already. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, that's going to be a crazy challenge. But yeah, and anyway, this is our last build.
Oh,
obviously,
my God. It's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. I like the title card here. I like that it just says play.
Come on, it's just like we're talking about a show about Lego, and
Yeah.
the treehouse is Lego theme. Like you can't go wrong with that.
He and Stacy really nailed that one, right? And this one was also built differently because everybody else was building on the tree, and they pretty much built on the tabletop.
That's
and
hard.
Then added it. Yeah.
That's hard. What they did was hard.
Exactly. And I love the fact they added those stars, because even that small detail over there, it made it like really popped out and not just look like this big red brick, It just like made it as a complete thing, like those. Oh my God, look at that. And then they're just lovely. Oh, come on. Like this whole picture is lovely.
Yeah. And I'm sure it was supposed to be like play well, but maybe they couldn't like use that. So just play, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nick says that like he built this whole other limb on the top, and like everybody hated it.
Really?
I didn't even notice that he built this
like he
extra
was like,
limb there.
I'm gonna build an extra limb. And I think he said that the BrickMasters were like adamantly opposed to it. But they, hashtag end result. So yeah, bonus limb. This is some kind of UFO person.
Well, I take it as a big accomplishment because come on, like they make another limb. Come on, like
they took a risk. Hey, they still made it up top,
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the interior. Here's the art room. And there's like a dance floor, but we didn't really get to see too much of it. And the gaming room.
The gaming room,
And there were no pandas in this one.
No,
just saying. Just saying. No
and no pirate ships. And no pirate ships.
They're actually. There was a pirate ship.
Oh, there it is.
Tiny one.
Yeah. There was also this cardboard monster.
I love the cardboard monster. Yeah. I remember that was one of my favorite features. I love red. Red is one of my favorite colors. But that cardboard monster to me just stood out to me so much.
Yes. And cardboard is the natural enemy of plastic. So it makes sense. And here's our secret door.
Yeah, the secret door.
Very cute.
Yeah. They did an amazing job, honestly.
I can't believe they built that.
Yeah. And here's, Nick and Stacy were in the top two.
I love Stacy's pose. We learned so much about her. Like, oh, okay, like the leg there.
I'm like slumping over.
Very, like,
I think has she taken ballet?
Yeah, it's like a ballet pose.
It seems like a ballet, like resting position.
It's like watching a cobra do ballet. Like it's always ready to strike.
She was talking about that on the bull.
It's fourth position.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right. She did say that was a ballerina. So
she was like, "This is the fourth position, but she's gonna be in the like something." She said something fun like that. But I think
that's what it is. She just has that natural grace from all those years of being in the ballet.
Yeah.
And this is and Nick and Stacy, they won the challenge. This is them finding that out. And it's they've been kind of near the top the entire competition. So it was cool to see them like get the win on this one.
Finally get the win.
episode 1, they actually got in second place.
Yeah.
It was never
Mhm.
featured.
It's never featured.
That's
Yeah.
it wasn't featured because Yo-Yo and Crash were swearing so much, from what I heard. That
Like,
because
how
they
many-
won, they were like, I can't effing believe that we effing won, and
Oh,
but was it like at a volume that's like far above something?
it must
that
have been
would be
because
acceptable
why would they
indoors?
cut that out of them
Yeah.
being in second place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Production, if you want to slip us that footage,
Well,
we
I
won't
think
tell.
Stacy mentioned it on one of the streams too. I think she mentioned it on her own stream that they came in second and that nobody showed it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
good for them. And yeah, that is we're nearing the end here, and now
Well,
we just
I
have
think we
to,
just need to pick a third place, and we are
Yeah.
sad to see you go. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh.
it was so hard. I think also if you're not following Michelle, she recently posted the response of her son watching the
Mhm.
show, and that was so heartbreaking. But it was so also you were saying in your post, it's not just that event; it's like all of the things that you gained from this experience and being with around all these amazing people.
It is a big win, honestly.
Mhm.
And I've
Mhm.
said this before, and I'm just gonna say it again. Growing up in Mexico, you really grow up with this mentality of that you sometimes have to settle because things don't come easy. You don't get a lot of opportunities. It's honestly very different way of living that here in the
Mhm.
United States. It's just like it's a different mindset. Even going into college, I remember like I'm an industrial designer and I was like doing my sketches and stuff. And I remember the teachers telling me like, hey, we have to make it cheap. We have to make it like affordable. We have to make, they don't let you run wild with your imagination, because it's this mindset that we all have. And I would have never in a million years think that I would be on a show about Lego. If you like, it's just really a dream come true for me. And I just feel super fortunate and lucky that I got chosen to be a part of this, because it's not that many people that get the opportunity, and there is so many people
So
out there
true.
that really want to make it to the show. This opportunity was brought to me. I was not looking for it. So that's another thing that is just, it just kind of feels like, I don't know, it was meant to happen. And I took the opportunity. We did the best that we could with the resources that we had at the moment, and I'm really proud of all that we achieved.
Yeah. And now tacos, they cut off your comments at the end of the episode. So do you
Yeah,
want
we
to
said we're going to give you full screen for
do you
this.
want to say what you want to say?
No, it's with everything going on in the world, we get to do this. My parents never had the opportunity to play. They still don't know how to play. They hang out with my daughter and they don't know what it is to play. So this is an awesome opportunity, to live in a time that we have all these resources, and I'm blessed. I'm grateful for Michelle reaching out, and just I'm grateful. That's it. That's all I got.
Well, the chat is, I was rooting for you guys. Brick
Yeah.
Chat.
Oh, thank you.
Congrats. Very
You were
inspirational.
definitely fan favorites. And I think also after meeting both of you and also Remy, I hadn't met Remy until BrickCon. And just meeting you there and just your generosity of spirit, your fun-loving nature, the joy you spread around to so many people. It's just such a blessing. And we're so honored you came on our little show.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much, honestly.
thank you for that. And for those of you who are not following them, make sure you follow. Oops.
Sorry. Yeah, go for it.
Let's do this again. Make sure you follow Legos Tacos Burritos on Instagram. And she also has STEM powered by tacos, if you want to follow some of the work she's doing with the STEM activities. And of course, follow Michelle Crafty Life on Instagram. And I think you're up to like 25,000 followers now too.
20
It's
more.
like
It's like
amazing.
27.
27,000. Oh, off by a couple thousand. And then, of course, Brick Literacy on Instagram. You've been listening to the Brickanista Broadcast Network. Please like and subscribe to the stream if you enjoyed this content. Really
Katie Lego also says she was rooting for you girls, and for me, you are LEGOMasters.
Oh,
and
man.
that's,
So
that is also our editorial position, that if you get on the show, you win. So
exactly. That was like we were just grateful. That's it. I'm happy that they get to showcase my words. I think my words were some of the trigger for my boy's like big burst on it, because he got so emotional about it, because he get seeing mommy break, it's sometimes hard for kids. But I think the overall like enseñanza, like how do you say that? The teaching of this whole episode is that well, sometimes you get stressed, sometimes you get like into this, block, but you can pass through it and still come out, like Amy said, like with big smiles and positive attitude. So
So one thing I think that needs to be mentioned is that, yeah, it's a reality show. And while you are going through castings or whatever, they are looking something as simple as your facial expressions. Clearly, they've seen the many faces of tacos and my stroke faces. But they did focus in on our hardship, but they were really hoping that we would come together at the end. As much as entertainment and blood comes, they want that love. They want Emily there. And they were able to feature a lot of that.
That moment when Emily took time out of her build with Liam and came over to chat with you, and something that you shared in that other interview was that she's been the mom to just about everybody on the cast. And
so I think everyone was pretty much featured in our most authentic selves. I mean, you didn't see me explode, so that was nice. But I think everyone was featured so far very authentic, and I was as hard as it was to see Michelle under those, under that stress. It was beautiful to see us come together.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I was freaking out the entire time, not knowing what was gonna be shown, because I went through it. And you think the worst. I was expecting so much hate. I'm not gonna lie, if I was expecting hate, I was expecting mean comments, I was expecting like the worst. And surprisingly, I've got nothing but love and support and kind words, and I am just like super overwhelmed, and I could not believe that the outcome of all of this is that I'm just like extremely happy and grateful, and it was an amazing experience and an amazing way to leave the show, like with so much love.
Yeah, we adore both of you. You're so full of spirit and heart, and we just wanted to thank you again so much for being on the show and for sharing so much and just being honest and real. I think that's one of the things that you bring to this show, is that you really show us how you feel, how you live. You say it's your own clothes, right?
Yeah, it's not a costume. It's
not a costume. Exactly.
Like, I really wear my socks like this all the time. Like,
thank you, everyone. And as they say on the Brickanista Broadcast Network, may the clutch be with you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.